bells swing and jingle bells ring, snowing and blowing up bushels of fun.
Let's make McDonald's apple pie at home, and trust me, it's so much better. The first thing we're gonna do is peel and cube our Granny Smith apples. Then in a pan over medium heat, melt down your butter. To that we add our apples, brown sugar, cinnamon, vanilla extract, a pinch of salt, and lemon juice. Once the apples are soft, you're gonna drop the heat and add our cornstarch mixture to thicken it up. Then we make our egg wash and cinnamon sugar. Next step is to lay out your pastry sheet on parchment paper. Roll it out a bit and cut it into 4 equal pieces. Brush the edges with egg wash and add lots of filling to one side. Fold over and seal very tightly with a fork. Brush the tops with egg wash and sprinkle cinnamon sugar. For a crunch, also add some coarse sugar. Last step is to bake them. Now that's the sound of a perfect flaky apple pie. And don't forget to drizzle the glaze. No pun intended, but you're gonna go nuts for this delicious and fluffy coconut rice recipe. Start out with some jasmine rice and no rinsing is needed. Then I like to toast my rice in some coconut oil, but this step is completely optional. Now over medium-high heat, we're gonna add a whole can of coconut milk, water, sugar, and salt. For even more coconut flavor, you can swap the water for coconut water. Once the liquid comes to a boil, drop the heat, cover, and let it simmer for about 15 minutes. After that, I like to turn off the heat and let it sit for 5 minutes before uncovering it and fluffing it up. Top with some toasted coconut and some fresh cilantro and enjoy! Because Taco Bell hates us and can't keep anything on their menu, we're gonna impress ourselves by making their nacho fries at home and even better. First step is to whip up our seasoning blend. You'll need chili powder, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, sugar, oregano, and cayenne for a little bit of a kick. We're also going to add a little bit of cheddar powder for a cheesy taste. Then we prep our fries, which should be about a medium thickness. You can use fresh or frozen, and then you'll just coat them generously in the seasoning. I also tossed them in some oil before I added the seasoning so I can air fry them, but you can bake or deep fry too. Once they're beautifully golden, they're ready to enjoy with some nacho cheese, which I don't want to exaggerate, but these sugar cookie apple pie bars might be the best thing you make this Thanksgiving. First step is to peel and cube 2 small Granny Smith apples. To that we add brown sugar, cinnamon, a pinch of nutmeg, and some melted unsalted butter. Give that a good mix and now set it aside. Part 2, we whip up our cheesecake batter. First, whip the cream cheese and sugar until smooth and creamy. Then add the egg and vanilla extract, mix again until smooth and creamy. Now for our crust, we're going to use sugar cookie dough. Use about 20 pieces and flatten them out in your lined pan. Then add the cheesecake mixture on top of that. Now we sprinkle on the apples and crumble up the remaining cookie dough and add that on top as well. Bake at 350 Fahrenheit for 40 to 50 minutes until it's set. Once it's chilled, slice, serve, and enjoy. For all my rice lovers, I'd like to introduce you to the stuffed pepper and steak rainbow rice. Let's make it. For our bell peppers, I like to use green, orange, and yellow. I use about half of each and cut it into very small pieces. We're also going to cut our steak into small cubes as well. Now we're going to saute our veggies in olive oil with some garlic. You can also add onions here, and once they soften, we're going to add our meat. Then we season it with onion powder, ginger, turmeric, black pepper, salt, tomato sauce, and lots of Italian dressing. Give that a stir until your meat is cooked thoroughly, taste it and see if it needs anything. Then we're going to add some diced tomatoes as well as some chopped parsley. Take it off the heat, mix it with your cooked basmati rice, and enjoy! Today we make garlic Parmesan fries even better than the counter and in your air fryer. Start out with half a stick of butter. We're going to add some minced garlic, chopped parsley, salt, black pepper, Italian seasoning, and grated Parmesan. Give that a mix and set it aside. Now for the potatoes, you can cut your own or just buy them frozen. I like to use the shoestring ones. I just toss them in a small splash of oil and pop them in my air fryer at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes. I give them a shake every 4 or 5 minutes and they come out looking beautifully golden like this. Then add about 2 spoonfuls of that garlic butter we made, sprinkle some fresh parsley on top, add tons of freshly shaved Parmesan, and it's ready to enjoy. I've been seeing the Wendy's Baconator all over TikTok, and I decided to make it at home so that I could try it out. First step is to shape our quarter pounder patties into the signature Wendy's square shape. Then sprinkle it generously with some salt and black pepper. Now we're going to cook our beef bacon. I'm using about 2 strips for each burger, and they're going to get cut in half. Now we get our skillet piping hot, and we're going to add our patties. When you flip it over, it should have a beautiful crust, and now we're going to add our cheese so that it can melt. Onto our buns, we're going a little bit more high-end and using some brioche. Spread some mayo and get some beautiful toastage on them. Now we assemble bottom bun, ketchup, patty, cheese, bacon, patty, cheese, bacon, and then I spread mayo on the top bun. And of course, the last step is to enjoy your juicy and better than Wendy's burger. If you've ever had these cheesy bites of heaven from Cheesecake Factory, you'll know just how addicting they are. Today, we make it at home and even better. Start out with your favorite mac and cheese, but make sure it's cold. Then shape it into bowls whatever size you like. For our wet mixture, we have eggs, Italian seasoning, salt, black pepper, Parmesan, and milk. For our dry mixture, we just have Italian breadcrumbs, Parmesan, and salt. After the mac and cheese bowls have sat in the freezer for about an hour, they should be solid. Now dip each one in the wet mixture, then in the dry, then back in the wet, and back in the dry for a double coating. Now we can drop them in some hot oil to fry until they're nice and golden brown. They're delicious on their own, but you can serve them on top of some heated marinara with more shaved parm on top and some fresh basil. And that's it, so if you like mac and cheese, you're definitely gonna love these. If you're seeing this video, I need you to promise that you'll never have a dry and crumbly biscuit again. Let's impress ourselves and whip up these super moist honey butter biscuits. Start by whisking all your dry ingredients together in a large bowl. Next, we're going to add our chilled and cubed butter. Incorporate it into the dry mixture using a pastry cutter. It's going to appear very crumbly. Now we add our chilled buttermilk and give it a mix until it starts to come together. For the most complex part, we're making our honey butter. Just mix together honey and butter. Once you drop the biscuits on the baking sheet, brush them in honey butter and pop them in the oven to bake until golden brown. Last step is to brush them in more honey butter and to enjoy.